Hello bookworms! Welcome back to our channel.
My name's Icy.
And I'm Ivy. So after we've done the best books of 2018, we're here to talk about the disappointing books of 2018.
So just a little disclaimer before we start. The intents and purposes of this video is to express our opinions, which everyone has different opinions about different books, and we're not hating on the authors or the books or the book fans. They're just what we thought about the books and that we didn't really like them.
Some of these books where we had high expectations of, were pretty disappointed upon reading them. If you love the book, then that's good.
We didn't really pick a certain number of books. We just gathered all the books that we didn't like into one group, and we came up with 6.
She has 4, I have 2. So you start first. Do the honors.
I think I mentioned this before in one of our wrap-ups last year. It's The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. So it's supposed to be a feminist retelling of The Little Mermaid. Sure, there were feminist ideas and stuff, but then again, it was just... I just wasn't feeling it. I was drawn to the book because of the really beautiful cover, as you can see here. It's really beautiful, and I was like, oh wow. I used to watch The Little Mermaid. It was my Frozen. But I was really disappointed when I started reading it. It was really hard to connect with the main character. Felt like she was a bit all over the place, but I understand that her dad, the Sea King, was a bit of a nut job. Because he favors the pretty one. So in this world, you have to be pretty, you can't eat too much, you have to put pearls on your tails that injure you. The Little Mermaid, she was betrothed to a 60-year-old mermaid, and she was only 16, 15? Yeah. And then she wants to be free from this world and wants to go on the land because she saved this Prince Charming from drowning, so she goes to the sea witch who gives her legs in exchange for her voice. And then her journey on land was just so weird because the Prince Eric in this story is a party boy and is a fuck boy too. Yeah. And I didn't really connect with her character because she felt like she was very indecisive and she couldn't make good decisions. Like, girl, what you doing? The guy was already treating her like, not crap, but he was letting his friends kind of take advantage of her, and then bottom line, it just didn't make me feel good.
I saw that a lot of booktubers have this book in the disappointing books of 2018.
But we're not saying that it's completely crap book. The cover was good, beautiful. But I still love The Little Mermaid. Next.
Life Flag by J. Christoph. This book is about far, far, far away in the future where global warming has taken over the world and there's radiation because it's so hot, and the sea is all oil and black. Most people are androids, but there are still other people who are alive. They wear suits to protect them from the radiation. And so anyway,
is this still Earth?
Yeah, it's still Earth. I forgot the plot of the story, but it involves discovering your superpowers.
She has superpowers?
Maybe. What drew me to reading this is I really love the Lunar Chronicles. I loved the concept. People said that if you love the Lunar Chronicles, then you love Life Flag.
I like the tagline on the book though. It's like Mad...
Yeah, it's
Mad
kind
Max.
of like...
Mad Max, Romeo and Juliet, something like that.
Yeah. I haven't seen Mad Max yet, so I think the world is kind of like that. It's desert. When I read it, it's a very good concept. But the writing style is... There's something about the writing that I can't really get into.
I think I felt the same with Nevernight, which I kind of read 2 years ago and DNF'd it.
I really love J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman's Illuminate Files. I had very, very high expectations into getting into Lifelike. The concept is good, but the execution, it wasn't for me. Because I've seen reviews that people loved it. That's understandable because the story is great, but the execution was just...
Maybe J. Christoph's writings isn't for us for some reason. I don't know. Not that I'm saying that he's a crap author. It's just I can't...
I haven't read Nevernight. I might give it a try. I've heard reviews that Lifelike is the young adult version of Nevernight. But I'm still looking forward to his other book with Amy Kaufman, The Aurora Rising. Yeah. I'll see you.
Next we have The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Brecken. So I've been watching a lot of booktubers, mostly when I was binge watching Christine Riccio from Poland. Christine Riccio. Christine from Poland Bananas Books. She had a book discussion. She had multiple videos of The Darkest Minds, and it was gonna be a movie. And I was like, oh, it must be so good. I need to read this. And I was so excited. High hopes, high expectations for the book. And then I started reading it. I think it's a dystopian world where kids, I think 15 below or something, there's an age group, and then they develop superpowers from, I forgot what, but they develop superpowers, and the government's trying to get all of these kids and sort them out according to superpowers. There's like from least powerful ones to the very powerful ones, and they're arranged in colors. There's an orange one for, I don't know, telekinesis or something, or fire. I forgot, but it's something like that. And then we follow this young girl who gets sorted into the least powerful house. Harry Potter. Least powerful group, but it turns out that she possesses one of the most powerful powers. It turns out she's really powerful. I actually didn't finish this. I think I was almost in the middle, and reading it felt like a chore. I found the pacing good, and there was a bit of action and suspense, but I just wasn't feeling it. I don't even remember why.
So you DNF.
I DNF'd it. I mean, it has a great concept like, of the superpowers and the government's trying to stop them. Yeah. I didn't like it. And I probably wouldn't watch the movie. Next up is a really unpopular opinion, since this book has like 4-star ratings on Goodreads, and I feel like the odd one out. I didn't like Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. So this has been in my TBR last year because of ratings, recommendations, books to watch out for. And actually, I think this one of the categories, I think it was fantasy. Fair enough. So I got into it because of decided to read books that have 3.5 ratings above. But then again, there are some good books that aren't rated so high. And one of my friends who owns this book liked it. It's about a fantasy world in Africa where there's different tribes that have different kinds of magical powers. That was a really good concept, I think. One day there's this dictator who decides to get rid of all the people who possess magic and who can do magic. We follow Zelly, whose mom was murdered by one of the kings, and we follow her adventure of seeking revenge, and for some reason she bumps into the daughter of the king who murdered her mom. This princess was running away from the king. Zelly and her go on to find like this thing that can restore magic, and during that adventure I found it really hard to connect with Zelly's character because she can be very reckless, but I liked the princess's character because I found her to be the most relatable. And what I didn't like about this was the romance. It was like, what?
I heard so many bad reviews about the romance.
Yeah, I didn't like it. That was like the last straw. So she develops this romance with the princess's brother who is hunting them down. And then they meet each other in dreams and stuff. Like suddenly they're in the sea about to kiss. So I was like, what? Their succeeding dreams involve like them being romantically involved while he hunts her down. Ah? Ah? That was for me. I don't really like insta romance.
That's very insta.
I actually finished the book. I wanted to see how it ended because I love the concept of magic. I wouldn't read the next book. Sorry.
The last disappointing book for me is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. I really love Sherlock Holmes movie, TV series, and I haven't read the book by Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm not really a die-hard fan, but I really love the detective.
The detective. I like the Netflix. Was it Netflix? Netflix series.
It had a Netflix series.
The hour-long ones, and you have to read the subtitles because he talks so fast.
Yeah. This book is about the descendants of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. So Charlotte is the great-granddaughter of Sherlock.
And married.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that he had a kid.
Sherlock?
Charlotte Holmes.
Charlotte Sherlock. I was like, what's her name? Sherlock?
Maybe that's why Charlotte. It sounds like Sherlock. This is set in America, but they are from England. Charlotte moves to America to study. She meets the descendant of Dr. Watson, who's Jamie Watson. They go to the school together, and then one night a classmate got murdered, and they were being framed for the murder of that classmate. And then they go to an adventure to find who's framing them, and then later on we find out that there's another Moriarty, the antagonist of Sherlock, the descendant of Moriarty.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. The concept is good, but dragged slowly and too long. In the 2/3 of the book, it just felt like they're not solving anything. And I didn't see any character development in James. I just loved how every murder was based on a story of Sherlock Holmes. Maybe because I haven't read Sherlock, that's why I couldn't really appreciate this one. There are more books to this series, and I think I won't read them.
I feel like such a hater. The next one is The Calling, which is the first book in the Endgame series by James Frey. I got into this book because one of my friends who's also into the types of books that I like dystopian, fantasy, adventure, sci-fi genre. He recommended that. It has a good plot, it has a good storyline. It's about like descendants of 12 ancient bloodlines who have to fight to the death and then retrieve like ancient artifacts like, I don't know, the Sky Key, something like that. I don't know what the end purpose of that game or whatever they're trying to achieve. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't DNF it. I read it till the end. It is very action-packed. There are just things that weren't really believable in my opinion. Because when you read a book, you want to be like convinced that this is real, even when you know it's not real. It doesn't happen in real life. So that was my issue. And another issue I had with this book was the love story. You can tell I'm not a fan of romance. But anyway, romance is good. There are times when it can get annoying. This one wasn't an insta romance. It was just annoying because these two characters created an alliance so they can work together until however long they can, like the Hunger Games. There's these two characters that decide to get into an alliance to work together for as long as they can until they end up dead or killing each other. And then they ended up falling in love. I felt a bit and she had a boyfriend back home who kept following her. I just thought that she should have just told her boyfriend the truth. I think she did. She told her boyfriend the truth about what was happening, like the end game stuff, but not about like the alliance. I think another thing was there was 12 characters. It was hard to keep up with all 12 of them. I found that it was good that there were diverse characters, but it was just too much. And too many different things happening at once. It gives you a description of what the character is doing, and then the next chapter is about a different character, and then after 5 million chapters you go back to that other character and you're like, what?
Who's this again?
Who's this? Huh? Wasn't filmed yet. So
She's not finished yet.
I'm not done yet. I decided to add another one, which is an unpopular opinion again. So the last book we're gonna be talking about is called And I Darken by Kirsten White. On Goodreads, this has been one of my recommendations, and I've seen a lot of good ratings. Booktubers love it. It's about a retelling of Vlad the Impaler, who's a real person, looking back in the history of wherever he was from. But in this retelling, he happens to be a girl. In this world, girls are usually inferior to men, but the Vlada, who's the lead character, is determined to prove herself, prove her father wrong.
So it's like Mulan.
It wasn't like Mulan. It's like Mulan in a way, but Mulan's dad wasn't really mean. But the dad was mean. What's a girl? What's that? Throw it down. It was a good maybe 100 pages, and then it just got all historical and kind of boring. It's like all events about the war, politics, alliances. I just got bored, and it was hard for me to read because it was like, oh, I should read a chapter, and I think, oh, but I don't like it. So that's the reason why I DNF'd it. So that's the 7 books of 2018 that we did not like. So it's our opinions, our thoughts. We're not hating on people. What we think is not written in stone, and it's not law.
We didn't have books that we both read and didn't like. If she doesn't like it, I won't read it.
If she doesn't like it, I probably
Yeah.
won't read it. Why would you read a book you don't like?
True.
And I think reading should be enjoyable.
Shouldn't be a chore. That something you have to do. But it should be something you love to do.
Yeah. Do you guys DNF books? Stop reading books when you feel like you're not feeling it? Or do you read it till the end?
Let us know down below your thoughts about the books, your disappointing reads of 2018.
And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And we'll see ya
In another
next
video.
video.